Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, February 2nd, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Member of Parliament for the Southern Grenadines, Terence Oliver, in Parliament today, expresses his concern with the number of school dropouts across SVG. Oliver, who was at the time making his contribution to the 2015 budget debate, says based on statistics he gathered from the Ministry of Education over a 4-year period, from 2009 to 2013, there were 235 dropouts at the primary school level and 1,296 at the secondary level. Though he admits not knowing the reasons why these students have left school, he says the government needs to do more in providing the necessary support to disadvantaged students.
Because I have heard of students who are being put out of school because I know of students who have been put out of class because they don't have the books. We have already known, we have already said, we have been saying it over and over again on this side of the house that the monies that are put into the book loan scheme is not enough. It is insufficient because when you go, students at the secondary school, some only get 3 and 4 books. The parents cannot afford to buy the books. And if we are talking by having a university graduate in every home by 2020, measures must be put in place to give the poor a fighting chance. Give them that. Provide them with the resources so that they will be able to complete not only primary but also their secondary education. And that is the point we are making, Mr. Speaker.
Pointing to some challenges facing students in his constituency, including transportation cost, the opposition MP told Parliament that the government's education revolution has failed the people of the Southern Grenadines.
Speaks about provision of grants, and so in order to help financial assistance to needy pupils, the minister made an application on behalf of a needy student, give financial assistance to such students out of monies voted for this purpose. Why is it so hard all these years just to provide the monies needed for the students from Mayo in order to travel to Union Island? That's so hard. And the people too, don't they deserve, in order to get a secondary education, also to have that fighting chance in life, to be qualified? We talk about poverty alleviation and wealth creation, but what are we doing for the students of the Southern Grenadines? We talk about universal access education, but within that universal access, there must be a provision to help those who cannot help themselves. That is the point, Mr. Speaker. Universal access with the provision to assist and help students so that they too, unlike any other student throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines, will have that equal opportunity.
Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Education, Gerlin Miguel, says despite what the opposition is purporting, the 2015 budget was well crafted and brings hope to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As it relates to education, Miguel listed a number of our government's accomplishments over the years, including the achievement of universal secondary education in September 2005 and the establishment of several new secondary schools. She says to ensure that students take advantage of the opportunities available to them by going to school this year, her ministry will be appointing school attendance officers in every district.
Mr. Speaker, for me, sometimes I would pass on the road and you would see children along the road. They are late sometimes for school, and this cannot work. My interventions would have come into place as I would pass and go to the schools and speak with the principals to find out why. Children should be there for worship, if they care to, but at least it is part of what we do. But some of them, they are there and they do not come early. I know that many parents have to go to work, and as they leave home for work, the children are left on their own. Some of them are good, they go straight to school, but there are those who may not go and get themselves into trouble.
The Education Minister also pointed out that her ministry will shortly sign a cooperation agreement with the Martinican Academy to facilitate education exchanges among teachers and students aimed at enhancing their competence in the French language.
This cooperation agreement will be supported by the French Embassy to the OES and the Alliance Française of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We've got a foreign languages program in the primary schools. Our children should not leave school without learning a foreign language or two. And we have to prepare them for tomorrow, Mr. Speaker. From an early age, we are trying our best to teach them and to nurture them.
The performance in the manufacturing industry has been described as commendable by Minister of Finance Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. In his 2015 budget address, the Prime Minister outlined that various entities in the industrialized sector has shown progress in 2014 and has even helped in the creation of jobs.
The major manufacturing enterprises which produce flour, rice, animal feed, galvanized sheetings, beer and other alcoholic beverages, rum and agro products have been performing commendably. And in 2014, the ECGC group of companies relaunched and repackaged the production of the famed juicy soft drinks, creating local value added and 40 jobs. Further, in 2014, approvals were granted to 6 applicants for fiscal incentives in industry. Additionally, duty-free concessions were granted to 14 small businesses, including 6 agro-processors. These businesses had an investment of $8 million and created 74 jobs.
The Minister of Finance, however, deemed the performance of the agriculture sector as burdensome, noting that diseases, natural disasters, predial larceny, and challenges in air and seaport transportation have been the root causes of the sector's downfall. He noted that his government will continue to do its best to buttress the sometimes unpredictable sector.
In any assessment of the performance of agriculture, it is always sensible to note that neither government nor any of its agencies is actually engaged in the ownership or management of any farm, save and except for a small experimental farm. In agriculture, it is the business of the government to provide or facilitate access to a range of services and to engender the development of a socio-economic framework to assist the farmer in the production and marketing of his or her agricultural products. It is at the end of the day the farmer and his or her workers who produce and market the crops and animals.
Opposition MP for South Leeward, Nigel Stevenson, says the government is not doing enough to provide employment for the young people of SVG. Making his contribution to the 2015 budget presentation, Stevenson told Parliament the unemployment rate among young people continues to grow and that the situation has become chronic.
And I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, if the government had perfected this art from day one, then we would have had the environment where businesses would have been thriving in this country, and then there would have been better opportunity for employment. But the government is continuing its quest. But I am sure by then the athletes would have lost faith and they would turn away from that coach. The same applies, Mr. Speaker, to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I do not believe that Vincentians are optimistic that, having heard the presentation of the 2015 budget, that there are prospects for employment, there are prospects for creating jobs and creating wealth.
The opposition MP further pointed out that the 2015 budget presentation will not meet the objective of wealth and job creation.
When people are confronted with a want because they just do not have the basic goods and services that are required to take them through life on a daily basis, they are finding it difficult to pay their bills. Electricity is a burden. Although we know that our country can do a lot better with respect to reducing the cost, the price of electricity that households are facing. So what we're saying here, Mr. Speaker, by the action of the government, the cost of living is going up. It is getting more difficult for people, and particularly young people. And when the cost of living rises, Mr. Speaker, the standard of living falls. So you cannot have it both ways. It's like a seesaw. When one end is up, the other end is down. So we can't have a good quality of life. We cannot have a high standard of living when the cost of living is mounting.
General Manager of Sol EC Limited, Steve Francis, is calling on government officials to step in on behalf of the local suppliers of gasoline and cooking gas to reduce the import duty placed on these petroleum products. Speaking on Sunday's Hit Talk program, Francis says that occasionally his company would receive notification from Petrotrin informing them that they would be unable to supply estimated quantities of fuel, and that due to the high price on duty for these shipments outside the OECS, they encounter many challenges.
Both oil companies, on a monthly basis, receive these notices from Petrotrin that they cannot supply certain quantities of products. And the usual thing that they say to us, due to technical difficulties that they are experiencing at the plant.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But not to be repetitive, the fact of the matter is, whenever we receive these notices, we then have to go on guard and see where we can source product.
Yeah.
The problem is though, if we bring that product outside of Trinidad, which is a CARICOM country, we are liable to pay duty.
Yes, quoted has to approve.
The problem with the quoted situation is simply this: it takes too long to get a response from quoted. While we are there sitting down waiting on quoted, we will be out of stock.
Yes.
This is why I said before, the government has to deal with this matter very expeditiously. We cannot wait on quoted.
Okay.
Fuel is about security.
Yes.
And I think the Minister of Trade too did express that particular point of view in a meeting that we had with him. Because we cannot sit down and wait until quoted makes a decision.
No.
If one understands the logistics in organizing fuel supplies, we're not talking about trading in dry goods here. We're not talking about buying corned beef and so forth. We're talking about fuel. It takes time to organize a ship or ships to bring a product.
Francis further emphasized the need for the government to give approval for local suppliers to arrange their own shipments, which would possibly result in a drop in the prices of these products locally.
But what is important is that the government give us the okay as quickly as possible so that we can arrange those shipments.
Okay.
We can't sit down, as I say, and wait until we get a response from CARICOM. The quota does not meet every day. And if we have to wait and we will be out of stock. Both we and Rubis, we will be out of stock. So these situations must be dealt with expeditiously at the highest level in government.
Coming up, police investigating drowning of teenage boy at Petty Bayaha. More stories on the local scene when SVGTV News continues. Don't go away. Police here are investigating the circumstances surrounding the drowning of 17-year-old Caldrick Jr. Williams of Redemption Shaps. The incident occurred on Saturday the 31st of January at Petty Bayaha. Reports are that Williams went on a church excursion with friends on the leeward side of the island when a stop was made at Petty Bayaha. It is reported that Williams and two other young men went swimming when he disappeared underwater. His body was later recovered from the water. Earlier today, his mother, Lavon Williams, told SVGTV News she's deeply heartbroken by the death of her son and recalls when she was told of his death.
Kids be treated. I said, that's why I do him. I said, what happened? He said, your son, the mortuary then. And one time he tell me, my son, the mortuary, I start to begin to run. I was speaking to Mr. Combash and one time he tell me I take up and we start to run. As soon as I run in, I see James Smart coming, wants me to hug me up to tell me, don't come carry down by the casualty now. When I do reach, I meet the doctor and then there, the hug me and they say, they try to calm me down. I start to bawl and try to calm me down. I say, come. When they settle down, we will carry on to see the body. As soon as I see my child, they so like that, and I start to begin to bawl and try to hold up a rope and hospital going inside there, and so I cannot face my child because I'm not taking his burial.
Father of the teen, James Smart, said his son was always trying to improve himself and said he was ironically at a funeral that Saturday when he was told that his son had died.
I would go and he love to walk and things. So I used to walk around these, then after he stopped from one day, and he used to go and fishing and dive and all kind of thing. And I used to walk in the mountain with the same Tony, with the same guy, and then we went with it. So he was not bad child anyhow to me. And he wasn't rude.
School he went to?
He used to go CW to school first, and then he moved from CW to cut off the pass and go up Mackey's Hill. The last school used to go before finish school.
So how you feel about something like this happening?
Well, I feel plenty. I can't go and sleeping one night and come. The first boy child, so I'm going to miss plenty.
Musical artist Yafatu Poye is encouraging other entertainers to expand in their talents. In an interview with SVG-TV, Poye, who just released a music video called Illusions, urged his fellow artists to make an effort to take their careers to the next level. He pointed out that sacrifices will have to be made.
You know, because I see some nice soca, I see some nice reggae, I see some nice dancehall, and it seems like, you know, sometimes we ain't getting nowhere. But I just like to say to those people, don't give up, keep writing your songs, keep singing your songs, keep doing what you're doing, and, you know, trust in the Almighty that, you know, one day things will be better, you know, so I just hold in the faith a good hope.
Come February 14th, Valentine's Day, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Botanical Gardens will be transformed into a romantic venue. According to curator Gordon Shallow, this is part of the facility's 250th anniversary activities, which promises to be a delight to patrons.
14th to be exact, Valentine's Day, we are looking to have a dinner, Valentine's dinner, where persons can make purchases to come to the gardens, have a nice outdoor candlelit, you know, very romantic experience. And it's going to be well worth the ticket, and so we're going to have different tickets available because we're looking to have one at the amphitheater and one at the curator's house.